This pharaonic looking thing here is not the Ark of the Covenant, because the Greek originated word ark refers to what's inside and not this pharaonic box itself. The two winged girlies you see here on the box spreading their wings in the typically protective way of Maat, the goddess of justice. Therefore the word magistrate, Maat, magistrate. Magistrate, therefore the law and its 10 commandments to abide by. If not, Maat. You get it, mate? Maat. But most importantly, she was the goddess of order. Order and obedience to our masters, the pharaohs. Order in the empire, so the masters could tend their businesses without losing too much energy on those slaves, totally unworthy of too much attention anyway. Here you can see the 42 principles or 42 ideals of Maat, written 2,000 years before Moses in the Bible, including the 10 commandments too. These were the 42 articles of Pharaoh's law to keep the slaves quiet, work and shut up, just as today, and still the same ones ruling. You can see number 3, I have not stolen. Number 8, I have not spoken lies. Number 32, I have not done neither harm nor ill, etc. All 10 commandments are there, where the 10 commandments are in fact a lousy copy of Pharaoh's laws of Maat. The Ark of the Covenant is not from God, but it was from Pharaoh to farm his Jewish slaves, by Moses the Pharaoh handing out the 10 rules to abide by, all in favor of the elite and ruling class, who kill us by the millions, but we, their slaves, are not allowed to retaliate. Rule number 6, thou shalt not kill. They are pharaonic masters of the aristocracy, and their masons rape and sacrifice our children. And they just laugh about rule number 7, no adultery. Our masters steal all from us, but the invisible all-seeing eye in the sky will see it all, when some Robin Hood would get some of it back. Rule number 8, thou shalt not steal. The Nazi Swiss and the authorities massively lie things together in a highly organized way to incriminate immigrants, so the Swiss can bury the immigrant under massive amounts of prison years. Rule number 9, thou shalt not bear false witness on your neighbor, Swiss, eh? So all these 10 pharaonic rules called Moses' commandments and covenant with God, the all-seeing eye, are laughed about by our masters, being just a clever means to farm the slave race called humanity. So there's no reason at all to lift yourself up in some hysterical religious ecstasy hearing the word Ark of the Covenant in some Steven Spielberg series for the slaves, and by the initiated. The Jews too should stop this arrogance, claiming the Ark as their heritage, which it isn't and never was either. But I suppose that many good Zionists have woken up to the fact that Moses took the Erev Rav, Pharaoh's wizards, with him, who became the rabbis, forcing Pharaoh's 10 laws of rulership upon the people, circumcising the slaves, as Pharaoh only circumcised their slaves and never themselves, for reasons explained in my older film here. And look at how the homos have to hold their hands here, you know. It's not out of free will, you know, they're doing it. You can see that here. So that's why, because, you know, people didn't want this, yeah. So they started doing it like with a baby, yeah. A baby can't defend himself, right? Right? And, you know, if you believe in God's creation, You do not mutilate it, eh? Like the homos do here. It's all from Pharaoh and the aristocracy. You can see it here. Pharaoh's Erev Rav and their rabbis of the Judenrat, Jewish Council, deliberately led the Jews into the concentration camps by means of deception, saying that Hitler was a civilized man who would never hurt a Jewish child, and that some God would protect them anyway. And here you can see how on June 26th, 1942, these Jews from Pharaoh's Erev Rav, working for and with the Nazis, even hang some Polish resistance fighters. This is the enemy within, and their base Switzerland. Here you can see the very moment on the hill with Pharaoh Moses, when Pharaoh said, "This is my chosen people, who will carry my 10 rules of enslavement among all peoples globally through the diaspora." That's why it says in the holy books that on that very occasion Pharaoh and his army of Erev Rav disappeared in the sea, meaning that the Pharisees or Pharaoh's aristocracy disappeared in the sea of peoples, the global invisible enemy within, and their Freemason lodges full of pharaonic symbology. Until Pharaoh's Roman legions, spreading the word and their 10 rules of enslavement, stumbled upon the Germanic tribes and got a thorough spanking. And their political elite of Pharaoh are literally begging for some good old Germanic spanking again today. In the Bible, they have another word for the Erev Rav, the Pharisees. And the Pharisees means the descendants of Pharaoh and his nobility, who sentenced Jesus to die on the cross, executed by the Romans. No Jew is guilty of killing Jesus. Now let's analyze the word Ark of the Covenant. The word covenant refers to the alliance, or rather the obedience to Pharaoh. Pharaoh, God on earth. The word ark comes from the Greek archein, meaning to rule, as in the word monarch for a king or pharaoh. Monos means alone, and archein to rule, as a king pharaoh in a feudal system of the Red House Old World Order vertical rule. Therefore, also Noah's Ark, which is not a boat but a law, as in the Ark of the Covenant. Or do you think the Covenant was a real bloody boat? There never was a bloody boat either. It's just a reference to the Horus Matrix concerning the selection of useful slaves for Pharaoh, or as some call them, Anunnaki, and to have all the bad slaves killed, as we are a farmed race. They're just breeding us and breeding us out, as they did with those annoying, dangerous Germanic tribes, in order to replace them, starting right in 1945 after the Big Dying. Like killing the dolphins, like on Auschwitz, on the beaches of France, full of sacrificed dolphins escaping the 5G noise of the water, climbing on a beach out of the noisy water. Thus, coming back to the boat, the ark and the water again, and Noah's Ark sort of meaning that we're all in the same boat, smartly pushed down by Pharaoh's 10 rules, by the so-called invisible realm of the all-seeing eye. The word monarch is also French, the language of the aristocracy par excellence. Mon arc, meaning my law, in those days, and for, in French, arc, same word. Or like Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of Arc, meaning Joan of the law. And she was not a saint either. You know, her first general was a Giureh. He was a pedophile and a Satanist serial killer. And God, there was no God that said like, Joan, you know, there's something wrong. She's not a saint. It's all the same story. Here it says God's warrior. It's all the same thing, like with Moses, Ark of the Covenant, Joan of Arc, Noah's Ark, Monarch, Macron. It's all the same bloody pharaonic lies with an invisible powers, you know, saving us. And come on. That's also why MK Ultra brainwashing method, also called monarch, as in MK, for shoving the 10 laws of Pharaoh up your brain. Monarch. MK Ultra Monarch is just a modern version of the same old religious hocus pocus brainwash as Ark of the Covenant, Noah's Ark, Joan of Arc, Monarch, Anagram Pro, Macron. How do I know all this? Or maybe I'll tell you one day. And here again, Arc, here it says, Les enfants arc-en-ciel, meaning the rainbow children, in English, of the indigo generation, because arc, the law. Arc-en-ciel, a rainbow, rounded as a bow, same word, arc, as in a dome. Being referred to in the Umbrella Corporation for protection with the Red Templar's cross from the Hollywood film Resident Evil. And an umbrella looks like a dome, and for protection, doesn't it? It's just a chess game to them, and we are the pawns, the slaves. And this pawn here, it's the queen actually, that's Isis, yeah, with the Templar's V here. Normally it stands on a checkerboard configuration, as in a Freemason lodge, and the Freemasons, they come out of these here, the Templars. And that's why this piece here of the chess game, why it's standing on a Templar's cross with the Templar's V. In just a Hollywood film, you might think, right? Some people even believe that the Ark of the Covenant is hidden here. Swissy? You see, it looks like a Swiss cross, Evil pharaohs with their unilateral 10 laws for farming their slaves are destroying the entire earth right now. So if there would be a genuine God left in this hell, he would say, retaliate now, immediately, and save what's left. No bloody creator would order his only hope to turn the other cheek and see the entire creation go to hell, as right now. And remember that the historical Jesus was from the royal pharaonic aristocratic house of King David, which the Bible says so. This was Pharaoh's only son, of Pharaoh God on earth, who died for his love for man. He loved the slaves and tried to help them against the Pharisees, descendants of Pharaoh, and he was standing in the way of his father, Pharaoh's plans to farm the slaves and have them fight each other in numerous wars. So Pharaoh, the father, had him die for his love of man, just as other Pharisees like Lady Di or John F. Kennedy. So all slaves and all tribes unite now and save what's left now. This is what Jesus wanted. All people unite and then retaliate all together for the love of saving this creation.